Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 15. I'm going to put down the gauntlet, best episode of all time. That is certainly going to turn some people off right from the beginning, because I know there's mixed emotions with this, and people, they've all got their favorites, but this was a complete episode for me. It was, it had everything that I needed. It had the right speed, the right balance. I can go through like just tons and tons of notes. I actually was able to go back and watch some of the scenes again. The Skybound site has up-close pictures of each of the pikes, which I can't put in videos because it is a little bit too gory. But, to each their own. And I saw a couple of the comments, especially last night. How many people were here last night for the reaction stream? It was madness. There were 9,800 to 10,000 people-ish, just all typing. It was chaos. If you guys were here, if not, go back and watch the playback of that video, because, yeah, it was fun, though. And you could see the passion. You could see the emotion coming out. Did I sound like an auctioneer last night? People were like, it was crazy. That's what you guys have built. You guys have built an amazing platform for people to get their thoughts and get their opinions out. There's always going to be speculation about, who's on the good side, who's on the bad side. There's already that next week with Lydia. Can you trust Lydia? Can you trust Siddiq? Here's the thing I would first and foremost like to say. You can't trust Gage. Let's start with the people that we know that we can hate. Let's hate the people that we should hate, and then let's reserve judgment on some of the other people. Gage is a troublemaker. He's a punk. He's going to continue to be a punk. He's going to continue to bully. He did that from the start. He did it last night. He was true to his form. DD Ohio, thank you so much. Super chatting already, saying, I miss Tara. I will say last night's stream, if you listen to the stream in the beginning of it, I was a little choked up from the show. But the more I started reading the comments and interacting with you guys, it got better. And I think by tonight, I'm going to be in full-on revenge mode. I'm going to be in... I still miss the characters, but now I was a little numb, and now it's time to regroup and get out there and find out what's going to work. Alpha is a beast. So let me start with a couple things. For those people that don't think... first of all, let me ask everybody in this group and everybody that is watching the playback... Straight up question, yes or no. Best episode of all time on The Walking Dead. I just want to know just your complete honest opinion at this point. And I know you can nitpick it. You can say no because of this or yes because of this. But for me, it is absolutely, and I'm going to tell you why. There's going to be a couple no's. And a couple of no's are going to be, things like, first of all, tell me an episode of The Walking Dead where everything was perfect. Because I know I've seen, how did she perfectly scalp the woman? How did she do all these killings and nobody knew? And, every once in a while, we don't have to have every single detail spoon-fed for us. I mean, you could probably ask the same question of, I'm pretty sure somewhere along the way, after Alpha killed the first one, she probably had to pee. They didn't show her pee. But, come on. I mean, seriously. You're trying to cram 2 or 3 days or at least 36 hours into what goes on. We can't see every single detail. They did an amazing job of what they were doing. And you can always, and every time we do a stream, somebody chimes in, the 1 or 2 small details that wasn't exactly perfect. They didn't focus in on the person's face enough. I saw one of the faces and it looked like one of them was beat up more than the other one. I think that's nitpicking. I think it's extreme that of all the things that showed up, and if you go back and watch this, how they developed the story, but then, there are literally people spending hours talking about how Henry's face is a little bit more beat up than the other's face. But you know why? You know what's nice about that? If you take it from a standpoint of it's unrealistic, I get it. But if you make it your own story. See, when you read a book, how many people like to read books? Just chime in. You get to kind of put your own spin on it, right? I'm going to make an example. Few people, right? All right, really quickly, the people in this stream. What color is my hair? Blonde, brown, black, or red? Take a pick. You got 4 choices. What color is, or you can say I'm bald if you want. What color is my hair? Bald, blonde, brown, black. Hold on. Wow. So, I'm pretty much whatever you guys want me to be, right? Guessing black, guessing blonde, guessing red. Okay. But you don't need it spoon-fed, right? So there were so many moments last night that the writers, the people directing, leave it to your own imagination of how it went down. And that's the beauty of it. Because if you want Alpha to kill the people and then go back and talk to Lydia, that's what she did. If you want Lydia to be the reason she went and killed those people, that's what she did. If the people were murdered and they never got to fight back and they were tortured, and that's what Siddiq wanted everybody to believe, then that's what happened. If Siddiq lied and wanted them all to go out like heroes and not look like cowards in front of all those people, then that's what happened. So don't overdo it by needing to be into the minds and the hearts of every single thing. A lot of times when they do these, they do it like a book where you can make your own judgment, your own assessment, where it can be what is real to you at that moment. Brat says, I want to see gore. The Walking Dead should be poor gore. But not to me. If you want to see gore, there's some extreme horror movies that you can definitely do. To me, The Walking Dead has never been about gore. The Walking Dead to me has been about odds, relationships, being on the edge, fighting for your lives, having to rebuild that networking, that communication. That's what it is to me. It's perfectly fine that The Walking Dead can be that to you, but it doesn't have to be the same to everybody. And when in doubt, instead of making me watch a horror movie and gore that I don't want to watch, or maybe making you watch something that has a nice romantic twist that maybe you don't want, they leave it open for interpretation. And I saw that last night with some of where people earlier in the week was like, I can't wait for this person to die. And then literally I had people messaging me all night saying, man, you're right. I didn't want to see it go down like that. Pete D did a super chat last night and said, look, I don't like Tara, but I needed her to die differently. Which she kind of did. He said he wanted her to kind of die guns a-blazing, and she kind of got that, right? Dead on Leprechaun, thank you so much. That's like a constant Tara shout-out. So appreciate that. But let's not take away. I mean, we could probably, the mannequins were used for CPR, and the realism of the candy apples. I mean, those are the details that were really, really dug down. But how cool was it to see Judith playing with Jerry, and I was going to say Jerry's kids, but playing with the children that belong to Jerry. You can see the little curly hair. I mean, you had to kind of be called in the emotion. Sheila Beasley says, burning question now. What color is your... Sheila, it's whatever color you want it to be. It changes every day. I had some people message me and they said, wow, it's fair. It's really slow. And I didn't agree. I mean, certainly that was an opinion that was out there. There are people today that are trashing The Walking Dead because all the hype with the fair didn't build up to what it was supposed to be. But did you not feel a little bit empty when Lydia went to the movie and it was foreshadowed and King Ezekiel said, our son is taking girl to the movie? Did you ever think you'd see that? And it never happened. And then you look down, and it is this creepy woman that Lydia's just kind of paralyzed. And like, I can scream. I can scream, and these people go after, just leave me alone. Let me kind of go on with my life. So I also got messages, and they said, the fair wasn't quite as red. Well, red was a metaphor for the fair. It was meant to encompass all the people that were going to die. We didn't literally go out there and say the kingdom would now become a creek or a river and it would be flowing with red blood. That's not the context of it. But people sometimes, I think they take the show way too on a literal sense. And the go back we always have is, you're watching a zombie show. If there can't be a couple unanswered questions in a show about dead things walking around, we're missing the context of the theme of what it is they're trying to get accomplished. Wilson, the look on Alden's face while performing. Oh, man. Wilson, I think that's what's important. And I'm going to ask this question to each of you. Other than a shocking death, other than the Pike scene, what is the most memorable part to you personally? I want each person, don't answer right away. It's not a speed test. I want you to think about this episode for a second. One person said Alden's face. What about last night really had an impact on you personally other than the border scene? Because there were a couple, but there was one that absolutely just struck me as... Tammy says Alpha and Lydia, Ezekiel survival, Rosita and Eugene. I love that. Little Chi, I agree with that. There were two things, and probably there are 50 things that's so good. Go back and watch the episode again. If you don't think this is the best ever, we are going to break this thing down all week. Alpha crying, and Beta walking away, and that other Whisper seeing her cry, and she immediately killed it. A lot of people miss that. But Alpha cannot be seen as weak. She can't have that going through the ranks, that she's weak. Angie Homan, sprinkling good vibes. Good vibrations. That part was absolutely amazing. There was another part. Eugene could not, and look, some people are going to look at this from a creepy perspective. Did you guys see how just enamored Eugene was with Rosita? And she was okay just letting him stare at her. She knew. She could feel his eyes, like he couldn't take his eyes off her. And she was tired, and she wanted to stay there and help him do something. And then it just got to that point where he pushed a little too much. But, I mean, he was literally staring at her for 30 seconds. Like, a complete pause. And he's like, well, some of the group is going to get together for an RPG campaign. Don't push your luck, Eugene. And it was just so perfect between the two of them of, all right, we're friends again. Can you go play D&D with me? And it's like, no. That's where I'm drawing the line. But before... if Rosita wasn't giving in a little bit before, she would have been like, stop staring at me. It's creeping me out a little bit. But that small detail of showing, like she said, she goes, I know it's different, but it's okay for us to be friends. And he was very uncomfortable with that. And she knew all the things that he did. So that's just one small element. Amazing, amazing scene. It was just 30 seconds. James O'Rourke says, oh, Henry boy, the Pikes are calling. Yeah. Seth Morgan. The reunion of Aunt Carole and Judith was memorable. It was too. And now, that's another scene. That, how about Judith saying, I know who you are. You're the king. You're the queen. I've been drawing pictures of you since I was like 3 years old. Judith's small scene, once again, steals it. Any Any moment she has is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Northside Queen. Is it me or was Father G eyeing Tara during that convo and when she walked away? He was. And I have to watch that again. Everybody had a certain amount of interest, and they haven't seen each other in a long time. Think Father G's still playing the field? Maybe. But, just the long-term relationships and the concern and the worry with everybody. I think we're caught up with the Drama King said, Kills, I feel at least one member of Magna's group should have been on a Pike. They needed a loss as well. Drama King, I guess it's because Magna's group is so strong. Their group is so small, and they're not really a group anymore. So I think initially I felt that way, but I don't. Because I think Magna said it best. Remember, where is Magna's group a part of now? Hold on before you guys say that. When Yumi went with Daryl, where did Magna go? And what did Magna say? I know that was a big question because some people thought Magna might have died or been going out there. She said, we're going to the hilltop. I have to go to the hilltop, and I want to make sure that we have a home to go back to. So I was okay when she said that because I'm like, okay, she's a member of the hilltop. And Tara's gone. There's a connection already there with hilltop, so I don't think that Luke or Magna or Connie or Kel, any of that, I think they're fine. I think they're willing to fight for the hilltop now. And we know they're willing to fight for it because we saw the preview that Yumi is all in. Death Proof. Alpha and Lydia need Dr. Phil to the ranch. Yeah, that's some mother-daughter problems. So Lisa Rawls brings up something here, says the Pike victims were not random. Once again, and we can take the people that came in and fought, and that's how we know they fought. There was, did Siddiq make all of this up? Well, the fact that DJ, Alec, and Ozzy actually had their heads on pikes also led me to believe Siddiq a little bit more. Because remember, they were a separate group. So Siddiq was taken. They fought. So, I know we can make it how hard did they fight, were they tortured, but I believe Siddiq's story because of what happened with Ozzy. When I saw Ozzy, DJ, and Alec on the pikes, I think his story made sense. And everybody fighting, not. I need it to be that way. You know what? If it makes you hate Alpha more, to think that she tortured all of them and all that happened before she killed them, that's fine. But I like the flashback, and the flashback seemed real to me. And when Alpha, that cold chilling of her walking in, it works for me, and I like the story. But there's nothing wrong with speculating it, and there will. I can promise you there will be Siddiq theories all throughout the week. But I can tell you, based on Siddiq and Carl's relationship, based on all the people that Siddiq has helped as a doctor, I got no reason to believe that he was involved in any of that at all. No reason. There's nothing that I saw other than, my own, if I wanted it to see it, or I wanted there to be a conspiracy, there was nothing that visually that proved there was a conspiracy, is all I would say. I got another super chat up here, and this is Christopher Sage says, how about the way Daryl looked at Connie? Waved when she carried the doggo. Love the connection. So many small things in this episode. That's why I think it's the best all time. To me, it was a little bit of backstory with Miles and Hilda. I liked it. Creepy Alpha. How she's going to get into the fair early on. Then, just the feel-good moments and people back to being normal. Believe it or not, I liked the Gage and Rodney scene. How many people like the Gage and Rodney scene? And I'll tell you why I liked it. Not the pike at the end. I'm okay with them being piked, by the way. I had no problem with that. Some are saying karma. I loved it because it showed me they were true to character, and I didn't want them to change. I didn't want them to paint a picture of them that wasn't true. I loved the fact that they were jerks. I loved the fact that I could see them doing that to her. I could see them taking out their frustrations on her. Oh, you're the creepy girl that brought all this on us. You know what? Look at Henry. He's got something else going on. Just to kind of sort of break her heart a little bit. I thought it was perfect. It was so well done. And the fact that the antagonist is still alive is kind of true to form too, right? Of all the people, Addie, Rodney, Henry, and Gage, the one that is probably the worst is Gage, and he's the one that escaped it. And he's the one that is going to feel somewhat responsible for it. And he's either going to continue that or we're going to see a shift with Gage. And the fact that it pisses a lot of people off shows me that it was very, very well done. And not that I'll like Gage, but I like the fact that they're not afraid to have a lurking villain. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gage try to pull a Gregory and Gage try to be a traitor, maybe try to kill Lydia. Can still have some problems. Okay, so I have to do a quick pulse survey. From a 1 to a 10, how is the alpha hate in this room right now? From a 1 to a 10. And you know what? You can go above a 10 if you want to go above a 10. No rules in this one. How is the alpha hatred after this episode? I think there's some venom out there. I love it. I love Dan Delve. Give me that 65, Dan. Look at this. All right. If you don't think there's some hate out there right now, and you know what? I saw something. I saw something that we have predicted for a while. The worse alpha is, the more Negan is needed. So, as a follow-up question, how's the love for Negan out there? Anybody ready to free Negan? Anybody ready to unleash the Negan beast? I love that they were talking about it last night on Talking Dead. It's a movement at this point. They completely made him look like a cupcake. I think they made the comment or something along the lines last night of, you got all these walkers, but we got one Negan. And I think he's going to win over a few more fans. So, on Saturday, I was at a place talking to some Walking Dead fans, and my favorite bartender says the exact words, "I'm glad you're finally seeing the light with Negan." And it kind of went full circle. And you guys have been involved in many of the streams, so you know that I just put my foot down and said, I will never, ever, ever like this character, like this man, need this man. And then when that was said, it was like, yeah, I was wrong about that. Because Alpha is so, so much worse than anything I've ever seen. She kills you if you see her cry. That's okay, Steph. You'll be alone on that island for a long, long time, because I'll tell you, just judging from the fans, 50-50, and then we went to 75, and I would say out of our viewers, I'd say we're probably up in the 97-98% range of people. But it's so funny. How many people watched Talking Dead last night? William the Walking Dead Billboard says, I'm glad that the groups and characters died, had no hard feelings toward each other before they died. Everyone's on board to rip the Whispers apart. Chris Hardwick said something last night that I thought was so, so appropriate. How many people caught his kitten comment? When they did the survey last night and said, should they fight back or should they leave the Whispers alone? And it was 97%. I thought that was that is the 999 Army. That's YouTube. It was the most perfectly stated comment. If you ever asked me about YouTube, and he said that you could free kittens and you would still have 3% of the people giving the video a thumbs down. It's so typical. It doesn't matter. We're in a stream right now, and there's already 4 people that disliked it, but yet they still come to the streams. This is what blows my mind. Every video we do, we probably get 10, 20, 30 dislikes, and some of the same group of people, they kind of do it. But the nice part about being different and discussing a show, there is no topic we're ever going to agree on 100% of the time. And that's okay. But I certainly think that when you're faced with a reform project like Negan, or you're faced with someone that will sneak in and take your people out, kill them, and put them on a marker and say, don't ever come back past this line, or you're going to end up like them. There is no comparison. There's zero comparison. And I just want to say the prophecy has been fulfilled. A year and a half ago, many of you in this very stream warned me and said, Kills, we know you're not this far along in the comics, but trust me when I tell you this. Alpha is twisted. And I said, okay, hold on. I was still kind of in my hate Negan mode at that moment. And I was like, okay, the governor was bad in the comics. Negan, I can't get over what he did. And they're like, you just hold tight. Alpha is going to do some stuff that's going to blow your mind. And then, she released a couple people. She released Luke and Alden. I'm like, how bad can she be, right? She just released a few people. And then she, somebody wanted to challenge the Alpha. There will be conflict. Are you challenging the Alpha? And then she just killed a couple of her own. Because you don't challenge Alpha. And then she's singing Lydia while she's cutting the scalp off of Hilda. And then she infiltrates a fair, looks Ezekiel, hi, I'm Debbie, call me Debbie, and proceeds to take 7 people out of the fair, I guess. You know, the other 3 kind of bum rushed them, but 7 people out of the fair and captured them, took their heads back, and made them into a border scene. And a couple hours later, figured she would take Daryl and show her. I mean, she has got some crazy stuff going on. Dead on Leprechaun. Pike Scene is worse than Negan's lineup by a lot. I agree 100%. And you know why I agree with that? Is because the Negan scene with the eeny, meeny, miny, mo, yes, it bothered me, not knowing at first who was going to die, and then, we kind of got immune to it, and we knew that Negan was about these communities and suppressing people. Alpha is not about... Alpha beats... She marches to her own drum. Wolverine 1771 says, what do you think they will do with Gage's character? If he changes his way, do you think Carl 3.0 left alive to do something dumb? All right, let me say this. As my witness, many of you were here when I said I will never accept Negan, and I totally changed and went back on it. I will never like the character Gage. I don't care what they do with him. I don't care if he saves RJ and Judith from an icy avalanche of walkers. I will not ever like that little punk. I won't. Didn't like him before. Didn't like him, when he said that to Lydia. Just don't like him. Don't care what he does. Haley Lucas, I love it. You say that now. You know what? I do reserve the right to change my mind. But at this moment, and what I think I'm going to feel a year from now, I don't like him. All right, awesome stuff. So what you're saying is there's always a chance. I do feel strongly about it. But the reason I love The Walking Dead is because they can change my mind. So I got to ask some of you people out there, my fans, I love you guys to death. I love... And some might say no, because some of you are pretty hard-headed. Has The Walking Dead ever changed your mind about anything that you were passionate about? Or is it like, nope, once I make up my mind, that's the way it is, ain't ever going to change? Has The Walking Dead ever changed your opinion of a person, of a relationship? Is there something you weren't going to change and all of a sudden you did? Delaware Sasquatch, Gage is the traitor. Many times. Yes, all the time. The people who said no, remind me to never have a one-on-one conversation with you because it won't work. There's always room for debate. There's always room to change. In 9 seasons of The Walking Dead, if you've never changed your opinion of a single character, it concerns me a little bit, but it's okay. I do love that comment. Angie Homan said, The Walking Dead has changed me as a person. When I hear stuff like that because of the amount of people that we have in our group, so, just a follow-up question. And there's a lot of people here right now. Do you guys see, these are concurrent viewers. Do you guys realize that there's over 1,000 people back and forth inside of this chat? If you guys don't think The Walking Dead is an emotional, passionate things that affect each and every... And look, I'm not going to get too real here. How many people are aware that during last night's stream, There were 10,000 people that were in that stream before the stream was over. I want you to fathom that for a little bit. You go to a basketball game and there's 10,000 people there. Last night, to give a reaction to a show, there were 10,000 people getting their opinion. Go back and watch the stream. If you want to see how quick the comments were coming, fast and furious, it was unreal. So when I hear stuff like, this show's changed my opinion, I've got some friends. I see you guys in the 999 Army Facebook page all the time. You know each other's kids. You know things about people. You hang out. You interact. So I'm always going to say this show is more than a television show. It's about relationships, and it's about what we agree on and what we disagree on. And I've changed my mind on Morgan several times, Father G several times, Rosita. Love Rosita. Oh, Rosita, she's too weak, and then and then she does something to surprise me. I go back and forth on it. But I think that happens more than people realize. Some people can't stop watching the Pike Scene. I'm going to tell you guys, we usually don't plug a whole lot of other websites, but Skybound's website actually has close-ups of each Pike, comparing them to the comic. And I will say, when I saw that today, I can't put it in a video. But when you see that up on your screen, it is moving. It is shocking. The expressions. I mean, it's rough. It is rough. Wow. And I thought the television show had just enough of showing it without dwelling on it. And, oh boy, when Daryl kind of went down the list and he got to the very end and Henry was there. Hey, George. You will probably never be on one of our streams again. It's amazing that you could pop in here and not even know this group. Oh, and you got a cool little weed symbol. That makes you impressive. Really? This guy doesn't get it. Seriously, you really don't get it. Anyway, moving on. For every George Solis that comes in and makes a moron out of himself, there's 100 people who are so impressed that we block people like that and we keep our group without that type of behavior. And I do want to give a shout out to all the moderators. Moderators did a tremendous job last night. Tremendous job. And I won't go through. You can imagine, right? 10,000 people. There were just a lot of people coming in making racist comments or making stupid comments. I don't know why, but that's what they did. But special shout out to the mods. What an incredible job. Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kels. We got a couple more super chats here. Robert Easley. Will Negan join the fight because of Frankie and DJ on a Pike? Or will he just want to prove he's changed to Daryl Michonne? No, I think Negan, there's a bigger picture. There's a connection between Daryl, Michonne, Frankie, DJ, Judith, and proving himself and doing the right thing. I think it's all of the above. Let me make sure I got everybody's comments included in here. I don't want to miss anybody. All right, yeah, I think we're good. And one last thing, and we will wind this thing down in a little bit because we're going to do several videos today. There were people that got blocked last night. And for all the 500-600 people here, do me a favor. If you guys like what we do, if you like our channel, show the trolls that get blocked. Give us video thumbs up and show them how many more people like a good, classy conversation that they can debate, they can talk about, they can disagree. They don't have to sit over in a corner and worry about saying something and somebody's going to lead with, hey, stupid, you shouldn't have said that. We don't do that. We just don't. We we get some crazy comments. I make some of them myself. Actually, I probably make the majority of them. But that's not who we are. It's not going to be who we are. It's not how our channel is going to grow. We will be streaming at 5 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, and at 9:30 tonight. So we're just going to do a few kind of open chats, different topics. I do think this is my favorite of all time. We're going to have a different topic at 5 o'clock. But, of course, they're all going to relate to the Pikes, the loss. The more we talk about it, the more we review it, the more we hang out. I think there's just going to be a deeper and deeper connection. I know a couple of you have asked, how do you become members on the channel? You have to go through YouTube Gaming. So if you go through YouTube Gaming, then we got a couple more people. Once we get 2 more members, we are going to announce probably within the next couple of days, our 999 Super Fan of the week, or we'll do it every 2 weeks. Maybe we'll do one of the month, but a little bit more to come on that. And also, we got a ton of new Patreons, so thank you for everything that you guys do. I appreciate your interaction. I appreciate your professionalism. And the one last thing that I want to say, I was proud of the mods, but I'm probably more proud of this group, because even some of the people last night who were okay with some of the people dying, there were people who weren't Tara fans and weren't Henry fans, and there was very little of people coming in chat last night saying, ha, 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 this person died, and who cares? You guys are idiots. Very little of that. There was a lot of sympathy and a lot of empathy for those who it did affect a little bit more. So I think of all the things that happened last night on the TV show that I loved, part of the reason why it was the best episode of all time was because of how each of you reacted and what it meant to each of you, and definitely strengthened the bond that I have with the 999 Army. So I want to say thank you. Appreciate you guys being here. And we will kick this thing back off again at 5 o'clock. None of our streams are exactly the same. So just keep that in mind. You guys structure the stream. It's your comments. It's your thoughts. We get some brand new ideas, some new theories, some new predictions that come out of each and every stream. So if you're brand new to the channel, you don't know what we're about, subscribe. I will guarantee you you'll have a good time. And, we do this at least a couple times a night. Today's going to be a little bit different because of, all the emotional impact. Thanks, everybody, once again. I will see, hopefully, all of you at 5, 8, and at 9:30. Peace.